Don't get burned. Never make a relationship money decision when you've just heard their sob story, also known as the sales pitch. Always give yourself at least 24 to 48 hours to think about it. Go back through your meditations and notes. This gives you time for the emotional effects of their sob story or sales presentation to subside and time for you to do research. Don't ever share personal information about your family or about your worries with people who are trying to get you into a scam relationship and eventually sell you something or get your money. In any interaction with someone trying to sell you a relationship deal or a sob story, always ask yourself, what's in it for me? And also ask what's in it for them? In other words, if this is such a great deal, why are they calling or telling you about it? Why don't they just do it themselves? How to protect yourself against relationship fraud. One of the things that makes people vulnerable to relationship fraud is when they respond to distress calls or texts or emails from their partners, or love interests or the person they are dating and make money decisions to give or lend them money based on those calls. Remember, always give yourself at least 24 to 48 hours to think about it. Go back through your meditations and notes. This gives you time for the emotional effects of their sob story or sales presentation to subside and time for you to do research. I hope this information causes people to review their own relationship and spending money behavior. Be aware of your own mindset, your own behaviors and your own dating profile that may put you at risk. And if you are in that category of higher risk, you have to be more judicious when dating or even befriending other people. How many times per year do you make a money decision, like giving money to your love interest or lending money or paying their bills or some new sob story? The answer to all the questions should be 0. In a typical month, how many solicitations would you say you receive for money in the form of sob stories from people trying to get you to give them money, including phone calls, texts, emails, and or letters in the mail? The answer to all the questions should be 0. Have you ever made money loans or gifts in the form of money in response to your friends, family, or love interest or partners in any of the following? Yes or no? Relationship Fraud Vulnerability Quiz. Assess how vulnerable you are to relationship fraud by reading the questions below and following our scoring guide. Add up your points, and check out your risk level after the quiz. Using fake profiles on online dating sites and social networks, including Facebook, scammers troll for the lonely and the vulnerable. They promise love and marriage and build what feels like a very real relationship to the mark. A confidence trick. Synonyms include confidence game, confidence scheme, ripoff, scam, and stratagem, is an attempt to defraud a person or group after first gaining their confidence, used in the classical sense of trust. Confidence tricks exploit characteristics of the human psyche, such as credulity, naivete, compassion, vanity, irresponsibility, trust, and greed. Please be careful and never move in with someone who you have to support or help financially in any way. Did you know that if you live with someone over a certain period of time and you break up, they could apply to the courts for spousal support and maintenance? Under this law, a couple that live together, whether of the same or the opposite sex, and who are in an intimate and committed relationship can come under the protection of the law as cohabitants. To qualify as cohabitants, a couple must be living with each other for 2 years, if they have a child together, or 5 years if they do not have children to qualify. When the relationship ends, if one of the cohabitants makes the case that they are financially and economically dependent on the other they have lived with, they could be entitled to maintenance from the ex-boyfriend/girlfriend. Please be careful and never move in with someone who you have to support or help financially in any way. The perfect mark was almost always a female. Why females won't waste their time with them? If prospects are asking a lot of questions or tell me they want to think it over or talk with their lawyer, the scammers will hang up the phone. Easy marks don't ask a lot of questions, they answer a lot of questions. Easy marks don't read paperwork, they wait for you to tell them what it says. Easy marks don't look for why the offer is a scam, they look for why the offer will make them money. They want you to make them feel good so they can pull the trigger. How do otherwise intelligent people fall for these scams? Marks, says she, are not unique and may be working in professional jobs. In the Lynn Yvette case, the two victims were led to believe that they had formed a relationship with an American deaf person, and that she needed help in transferring her job from Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Macon, Georgia. She asked them to pay the transfer fees, saying they would be reimbursed. But that reimbursement never comes. 5 things that tell you she's a scammer. Resist the sympathy approach. It's often a line to get you to give them money or sign up for something. She is trained to work women telling phony sob stories. Once you give them money or a loan or sign, they move on to the woman in the next town. Read and understand everything before you sign. Are all promises in writing? Is the guarantee specific? Are all blank spaces filled in? Are all charges itemized? Have you read the small print? Do you get a copy? Be on the lookout for legal double talk. Know that as means no warranty. See a lawyer if you have any doubts or questions. Solitude is best. The best thinking has been done in solitude. It's a waste of time trying to change people. This solo inward journey has been called many things throughout time. The myths call it the labyrinth, the forest, and the journey. Culturally, it's called the walkabout, the vision quest, and the pilgrimage. Choose your must, then begin following all cravings, longings, and desires associated with it. It's about emotion, not logic. Think about the first time she asked you for money. Were you thinking clearly? Probably not. I saw this tactic used again and again in my career. When he first asked for money to help finish a construction project in Georgia, it raised a red flag. Over the next 6 months, she gave more money in response to each new sob story she told her, she said, because, after all, they were in love. It's not logic. If you apply logic, the answer is, no, I am not going to send or give you or spend my hard-earned money on you. I don't really even know who you are. Or I know that you are a loser. If you had applied logic to her stories, you would have walked away every time. It's not logic. If you apply logic, the answer is, no, I am not going to send or give you or spend you my hard-earned money. I don't even know who you are. Or I know that you are a loser. If you had applied logic to your deals, you would have walked away every time. My son asked me once how his friends could avoid these scams. I told him 2 things. If someone is pitching a sob story to get your money, ask yourself, what's in it for me? A common ploy is to get you to take out a loan to fix their house, then ask you to lend them money to pay her bills or to pay debts or some other messes in which they put themselves in. It may not be a fraud on purpose, but it is a lot better deal for them than for you. I also told him that when it comes to your money or your house, never sign any paperwork until your attorney. Someone you choose, not someone that they refer you to, reads the fine print. Never lend or give your money away to a loser that gets herself or himself in trouble for you to save them. You are not Mother Teresa. You are not their mother. And they probably wouldn't do the same for you. Don't be a fool, child. She first talked to his love interest Lynn Yvette, who gave her the generic pitch. Lynn Yvette said that she was moving to Georgia, that she had a house paid for, and that she could move there too and she wouldn't pay rent. Lynn Yvette mentioned all the advantages of living in Georgia, like low pollen count, good weather, etc. Then she turned her over to her mother Felicita to close the scam. The first thing Felicita said to Fairwind was, "Hi, Fairwind, this is Felicita. How are you doing? Go get a pen and paper right now, I want you to write my name down." She immediately said, "Oh, okay, I'll be right back. Let me look at my schedule." Bang. With those 6 words, Felicita knew that she was going to fall and fall hard. It wasn't just that she immediately complied with her request. It was how she complied. The tone of her voice was high-pitched and squeaky, almost submissive. It's hard to explain, but over time they pick up the nuances and subtleties in people's voices.